We are coming to you from Northrock Lanes in Wichita, Kansas. It's the PBA Pepsi Open. 4 bowlers going for big prize money, valuable tour points, and that coveted tour exemption. Now they're ready to roll.
He is currently ranked first in the PBA World Rankings. The 2004 PBA Miller High Life Masters champion from Baltimore, Maryland, Danny Wiseman.
The current Masters champion has been mastering the hardwood this season. Today, he looks for title number 12.
He finished in first place at the inaugural PBA Tour Trials, making his first TV appearance in 5 years. From Tulsa, Oklahoma, Mike Edwards.
He didn't just finish first at Tour Trials, he owned Tour Trials. He's looking to dominate here today to win his first title in more than a decade.
He is currently ranked 4th in the PBA World Rankings, making his second TV appearance this season. From Titusville, Florida, Jason Hurd.
When you think of Jason Hurd, you think of sick power. With the right mindset today, Jason Hurd could do some serious mauling.
He is 6-0 in television matches, including his second PBA title at last week's BowlersParadise.com Open. From Salina, Texas, Rick Lawrence.
Nobody gave this southpaw a chance out here, so what does he do? He wins! And this week sends out a message to everyone. I'm no flash in the pan.
These are your 4 finalists for the PBA Pepsi Open.
Welcome, everyone, to our live coverage of the PBA on ESPN. Dave Ryan alongside Randy Peterson, along with our entire crew. It's event number 5 on the tour scheduled, and it's 4 bowlers going for the championship. Randy, let's break down the matchups with your brackets.
Thanks, Dave. Semifinal number 1, Masters champion and current point leader Danny Wiseman takes on Mike Edwards, who makes his first TV finals in 5 years. In semifinal number 2, Jason Hurd, seeking his first career singles win, takes on last week's winner, Rick Lawrence, who looks to become the first repeat winner on tour since 2000. Dave?
And our first semifinalists are ready to go. Mike Edwards, 79 events. It's been a long drought. 1999 since you made a PBA Tour TV show. What's it like to be back?
Oh, it feels great, man. I'm ready to go. It's been a while, and I feel great today. I'm just ready to get it on.
How are the nerves?
Oh, great. I'm ready to go. I'm fine.
He is ready. Danny Wiseman, no titles for you last year. You win the Masters to begin our season. Now a chance for a second title already in just 5 events. What's the difference, the start of last year and this year?
Less injuries. Last year was pretty tough with my hand and everything. Extensive program over the summer. Hand's good, foot's pretty good, and it's time to rock.
He is ready, Randy Peterson. Last time these guys met on TV, 1995, was a great matchup. Erie, Pennsylvania, 278, 277 in a shootout. Danny Wiseman won it. We'll see what happens this time.
Lots of money on the line this week. $232,000 prize fund. 40 to the winner, 20 to the runner-up. Big points, 25,000 points for the win. Remember, the winner gets an exemption into the 2005-2006 season. Mike Edwards here because of that total domination at the Tour Trials early in the summer.
What a start for Mike Edwards. Lister's the pocket. You mentioned in the introductions, Randy, that Jason Hurd throws the ball pretty hard. How about Mike Edwards? That's some heat. Masters champion, Danny Wiseman. That's high. Right through the nose. Shot. 3-6.
And early on, if you watch the ball roll of Danny Wiseman versus Mike Edwards, it's a lot different. You can see Danny's playing a little bit deeper towards the inside part of the lane. Plus, his hand is going around it a little bit more than Mike Edwards. Mike more up the back, more rolling it. He's able to keep it more on line. I think advantage early on, Mike Edwards.
3-pin has got to be added here, so we'll have a quick adjustment. Danny Wiseman coming into this
3-pin, please.
event. Yeah, he needs a 3-pin to finish the spare out. #1 PBA points leader. After winning in Milwaukee, he'll have more than 80,000 points minimum if he even loses this match to Edwards. While we have a minute, let's check in the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup, Randy.
And check this out. Mike Edwards, 10 pins a game, higher average. But this is what's really unusual. Extremely low spare conversion percentage. Most of the time you see the guys in that 80-85% range. Danny Wiseman, when he didn't strike, struggled with the conversions.
Danny also is the tour's money leader. 8 straight years on TV. And despite the delay, a fine conversion of the 3-6 spare for his first mark. 16-5 match play record and a 219.33 average, a 7-game thriller with Tommy Jones in the round of 8. Danny reminding us last night, boy, I started that match horribly. Another ball off the mark for Wiseman. He had a 147 in game 1 of that best of 7 round of 8 match with Tommy Jones before rebounding.
Soft hard.
And again, you can see this ball just kind of spinning as it goes down the lane. It goes high on the right lane, light on the left lane. That match against Tommy Jones, Danny told us last night that he had to move in and play 5th arrow where Tommy Jones was. He ended up coming out victorious.
Wiseman was up 19 pins heading into the 10th frame. Left it open, giving Tommy a chance. Jones left a 9 count after a strike, and Wiseman had the victory. And as Danny reminded us, hey, I backed in, but I'll take it. Anytime you can make a show, a very competitive, exempt feel on the PBA Tour. It's a challenge. Oh, a lucky break, and the 4 almost got tripped there. That was right through the nose, way high for Edwards, who goes right at the pocket.
Mike Edwards again playing further right than Danny, hand up the back, going really straight and direct. Great break there. He could have left the big 4, Dave.
Well, it could have been a disaster for the guy they call Eddie from Oklahoma. Takes care of the spare. Big Oklahoma Sooners fan as we see his trip to the TV show. 229.70 average for him. Wins over Voss, Mr. 300 Bob Learn Jr. in 5. And what a wild match that was against Hugh Miller. 7-game round of 8. Hugh had only to mark in the 10th to win it, left a split. Edwards had to mark and ended up converting a 10-pin and got himself the victory. Big strike there. Mike Edwards thought it was over. Hugh Miller just needed the mark and he was going to lose in the round of 8 again.
Well, yeah, and it did come down to the last ball in the 10th frames. You see Mike Edwards, this one's dead flush perfect. But let's not forget, the last 2 out of 3 weeks, Mike Edwards has had epic battles with Brian Voss. This week, no exception.
The adjustment works. Maybe straighter at that pocket is better.
Absolutely, Dave. You heard Danny Wiseman say it. Maybe, let's try straighter and see what happens. And a ball change.
TV comparison, you see the numbers. 11 titles. And Mike Edwards, folks, has been on tour a long time, 22 years. He went 12 years between winning his first title and the start of his career, then another 10-year gap as he's trying to win number 2. Back on the show for the first time since '99. Wiseman has had a lot more success, and he's made the proper adjustments. And as he pointed out to us, Randy, last night, he is, in his words, an extreme technician of the game, constantly working on his layout.
Well, working on layouts, working on form, working on releases, working on a number of things. That's why he is as great as he is. He's versatile. You heard him say, let's change balls, let's go straighter, in only the 3rd frame of this game.
Oil breaks down a lot differently with the TV lights. Edwards, a little double wood there. A 2-8, again off the mark to the pocket. One career championship came in 1994. Markham, Ontario, Canada. The PBA IOF Foresters Bowling Championship. And Mike telling us he remembers it well. The feeling of winning. despite the fact it's been so long. Nice double wood pickup there.
I remember it well. I was there along with a couple other Mike's.
Mick, I made it for you.
A couple other Mike's close friends. We stuck around and waited and watched Mike bowl the show. We were there, and you know, Mike had been so close throughout his career, and it was just great to not only have, you know, watched him win, but being there and actually being able to share it with him as well.
His mom and dad, Jim and Jean, watching back home in Tulsa. Mom just too nervous to make the drive. It's only about 4 hours. Big strike for Mike Edwards, but she gets so nervous watching him compete in person, she thought it was better to stay home in Oklahoma and watch it on ESPN today instead.
Come on.
Here comes the can opener, just shreds the rack in half. That strike there. Mike Edwards going at a Dutch 200 and only trailing by 7.
Turkey ball try here for Wiseman to go up 17 pins. And to the midway point of this semifinal.
Look out.
Wow, that was way off.
In the words of Bob Uecker, Dave Ryan, just a bit outside.
I mean, how often do you see a PBA pro of Wiseman's caliber, any for that matter, miss the headpin?
Rarely, if
1,
ever.
2, 4. I mean,
Rarely,
it's
if ever.
probably just been a couple times in 3 years of working with it here on ESPN. We've seen that.
Well, last year we saw Walter Ray do it once, which is
Just as shocking.
Yeah.
And he knew it. An open frame for Danny Wiseman. Upon release, he wasn't happy, Randy.
Back-to-back mistakes, something that you'll rarely see Danny Wiseman do. And Mike Edwards takes the lead sitting on the bench.
So we won't have that shootout type incredible number we mentioned at the start of this match, the 278-277 battle in Erie. Back in '95, Mike Edwards said before the match, boy, there were 5,000 people there. It was an awesome environment. Getting some late help, paralyzing 5 goes down late. He'll gladly take that break. When we return, Randy and I will break down this week's oil pattern and talk about the incredible story with Rick Lawrence. And we'll finish up this semifinal. Who will take it, Edwards or Wiseman? We'll find out. The PBA on ESPN is brought to you by Pepsi. By Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. What's your size? And by Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. It's the 14th time the PBA Tour has been back to Wichita, Kansas. And the Wichita Wheat Shocker bowling team is here, one of the tops in the nation, led by their head coach, Gordon Vatican. We welcome them. Welcome everyone. Wichita, Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, our great crew here. Live coverage of the PBA continuing here on ESPN. Incredible story. Cinderella story with Rick Lawrence, who wins last week, defeating Walter Ray Williams Jr. en route to his first title since '99. And most people thought, well, great victory. Maybe he'll just got to sit on that for a while, but he's back on the show again.
Yeah, you know, nobody really gave this guy a chance out here. He barely made it to the all-exempt field. He got that exemption from the very last tournament of last year. But, you know, you got to give this guy kudos. I mean, he took advantage, call it divine intervention if you want, against Walter Ray last week, and then he crushes Brad Angelo. And instead of resting on his laurels, guess what? He's back here this week. You really got to give him a lot of credit. All
right, time for Crocodile Randy to break down the oil again. It's pattern C.
Scorpion pattern, Dave. This week's Scorpion pattern, 41 feet of the slick stuff. Rick Lawrence is going to have to play a little bit more angle this week than he did last. And you see the guys on the right side, they're trying to burn up a spot in the track area and then somehow try to throw to that. Early on struggles. When the lanes quiet down, I think we're going to have high scores like we did all week long. And remember, when a Scorpion gets cornered, he strikes, strikes, strikes.
Thank you, Crocodile Randy. You see the averages last year on this pattern. That is pattern C a year ago, 206.31 this year. TV average way up. Left and right lanes. Great start left side, certainly, for Mike Edwards.
And the scoring pace on all of our patterns in general this year, much higher than last.
Max score here for Mike Edwards is 260, folks. He's up 8 pins. Chance for an 18-pin lead with a strike. He'll have it. Shreds the rack in style.
Up in here.
I've always been a big advocate of when the lanes get a little goofy, straighter is greater. Mike Edwards with the high hard one right here. That ball is dead flush perfect. He now takes an 18-pin lead.
To us, Mike calls himself a tweener, somewhere in between the big hook and coming straight at it. But today, it looks like he's going right at that pin.
He's more on the firm side of tweener. I agree with that. But he likes to throw it hard. He likes to bring the heat.
7th frame. Turkey ball chance here. And boy, would Mike Edwards like to be in that list. Tour exemptions. How did he get here this year? The Summer Tour Trials, June. Got him this far. Oh, late help. Messenger takes out that pin late. A big strike.
Well, check this out. This ball is going to be high. High flush. Solid 9. A little trip out there. Mike Edwards now has a 3-bagger and a 28-pin lead.
Wiseman works on a strike. Chance to reduce it to 18 now. You see the difference, average in the wins and losses. That's high again. Look out. Oh, through the nose.
Sweet.
And a disastrous split. 4, 6, 7. And Danny is puzzled.
Too bad there.
Yeah, he's puzzled because he's getting a little goofy ball reaction on this right lane, and that's why, again, I think advantage Mike Edwards. He can go much straighter and much harder.
Well, he'll take the lesser of two evils there and grab the 4-7.
Good shots.
But leaves the 6-pin, a second open frame, and now the deficit balloons to 40
re-rack, please.
pins. He'll take a minute here, take a re-rack, anything to gain his composure. Edwards working with the turkey and a chance for a 4-bagger. Next week, we'll see who wins in Denver. That's where the PBA Tour is headed. Exclusive coverage of the PBA Tour continues. Lakewood, Colorado, outside of Denver. We are bound for the Rocky Mountains, the Denver Open. It all starts right here at 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. That's light.
And if I may say, Danny Wiseman made the wrong choice. He's got a terrible ball reaction. Very unlike Danny Wiseman, but you know what?
Guessing. Bad guess.
It happens to the best players out here week in and week out. In a one-game match, Dave, you have to make all the right decisions.
Anything can happen, right? Another High Life Masters champion this year was going for a 12th title. Does take out that 5-pin in that spare. Covers all 4 nicely. But to see a head pin and a 5-pin remaining from a PBA Tour player at this level on TV, same game, that's shocking.
When you don't have a good ball reaction, that's what happens.
Exactly.
When you have a good ball reaction, ball stays in the 1-3 pretty much every shot.
Folks, Mike Edwards has been handed a gift here. Look, gift wrap, but look out, that's way off.
Yeah.
And speaking of head pins up again, 1, 2, 4. Stand.
And right now, Mike, all he has to do is fill frames, meaning marks, and he flags the head pin. So early on, tough lanes, tough lane conditions, and some jitters, I think.
Wiseman's not going to give up. He's going to make some adjustments here. Seeing a potential open frame. But Edwards does cover nicely. He's got 9 people watching, a little watch party going on in Tulsa, including his buddies Parker and Jay, who are down the road in Tulsa, Oklahoma, watching closely. 1 career title got by Pete Weber. That was way back, 94 in Markham, Ontario, 203 to 192.
And to think that somewhere down the road last summer, this guy thought about quitting the tour, only to come back and bowl on television. It's a great story.
An amazing story, Randy. He left the tour for 7 weeks last year after a disastrous start. His first show since 1999 comes today, and not only did he take a lead in running high to the Tour Trials in June, he blasted the competition. Wasn't even close. Back to Wiseman, who just can't find the ball reaction, folks. He's so out of whack. He just knows it.
Well, he tried in between. He tried going straight. This shot, he tries to hook it. And Dave, quite honestly, you would have had a better chance striking.
I'm not so sure. Now, later in our show today, we're going to see Chris Barnes and Lonnie Walczek on our skills challenge. Shoot left-handed.
Yesterday morning.
And I'll tell you what, they shoot much better lefty than I do. And I'm left-handed, and they're not. Well, our PBA points leader has lost this one to Mike Edwards. He is off to the championship match.
We'll use them all.
Danny telling us last night, yes, I've had great success, my second show in the first 5, but I'm staying humble. Not trying to think about getting too far ahead of himself. In 96, 99, and 2000, he made 5 shows those years. But this is the best way to stay humble, I think, for a guy like that. Just one of those tough outings.
Yeah, he seemed really poised and confident last night, but not overconfident. And again, you know, in a one-game match on television, lane conditions, this choice, that choice, a lot of times it does come down to a guessing game. However, you got to make an educated guess. Danny Wiseman guessed incorrectly today.
Hey, I shot 140 yesterday morning, so.
Well, he's right about that. That's we mentioned the start of some of his match play events.
Don't like
he had real trouble. That was a 147 against Tommy Jones, the round of 8. He eventually won it, though. We are fast tracking to the end of this one, folks, because it is over.
Michael.
Get it. You heard Danny Wiseman.
Eddie, best of luck.
Yeah, and you heard Danny earlier say that he didn't like him. He didn't like him fresh, meaning he didn't like the fresh lane condition. Remember, the players only get 15 minutes prior to going on air, 15 minutes of practice.
Come on, what are you doing?
Trying something. All right, man.
Go get him.
Yeah, one down, baby.
1 down and 1 to go for Mike Edwards.
Sooner magic.
Jason Hurd, Rick Lawrence are up next, and the winner of that match will take on Mike Edwards for the PBA Pepsi Open Championship from here in Wichita, Kansas. That is coming up. And as we mentioned, some former wheat shockers are here, and they're involved in our skills challenge. We can't wait to see that too, right? Coming up next, you will not want to miss the Miller High Life PBA Skills Challenge. A couple of former wheat shockers, Lonnie Wildcheck and Chris Barnes, going head-to-head. This is going to be fun.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
We are not far from the Wichita State University campus here in Wichita, Kansas, home of the 13-time men's and women's NCAA bowling champions, led by that man, Gordon Vatican, who's the head coach, works with both the men's and women's team. They just got back from an event in St. Louis where the men finished third. Women's were second women's team in St. Louis at a big event. And the bowlers from Wichita State have had quite an impact on the PBA Tour. Chris Barnes, Lonnie Wildcheck, we'll see them in a moment on the Skills Challenge. Patrick Healy Jr. won his Tournament of Champions major last year, and Rick Steelsmith, 18 years on tour. All 4 of those bowlers, the coaches tell us, are very heavily involved with the Wichita State program, especially Wildcheck and Steelsmith, who live here in town. Well, last week we saw Brian Kretzer defeat Walter A. Williams Jr. in the Miller High Life Skills Challenge. The round of 16 continues today. Remember, the first bowler to outskill his opponent 3 times gets 3 strikes on the scoreboard and advances to the round of 8. We are ready for this week's Miller High Life Skills Challenge. Lonnie Wildcheck from Wichita State University. And another wheat shocker alum, Chris Barnes, with 5 career titles, go head-to-head. We see the numbers, 7 combined championships, but no majors yet for these 2 young stars.
It'll be certainly very entertaining. Both guys, a lot of trick shots in their arsenal.
Here's the first, 4-6 split, 2 balls, 1 hand, Lonnie Wildcheck. Looking good. Oh, he covers nicely. Hits the pins flush.
And you wonder why I only gave it an 8.5 rating. Well, that's still a pretty tough rating, but as you can see, Lonnie Wildcheck makes this look easy.
Chris Barnes got to respond now. Lonnie likes it. If Barnes misses, it's 1 strike to none. First player to 3 strikes wins the competition. Got a Miller High Life spare ball in there, and he celebrates a nice cover himself. He matches.
I mean, he makes this look like butter. Very smooth, covers both pins perfectly. He's like, what piece of cake. And Lonnie, game on.
Now it's Barnes. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10 split.
Make a little better go at this one.
Not an easy shot. Oh, he covers nicely all the way across the pin deck to take out the 4 and the 7.
Now this looks real intimidating, but it's not that tough. All you got to do really is convert the baby split to 3-10. Get the ball to the right of the 3-pin, throw it over into the 4-7. Nicely done.
So Randy Lonnie Walchek has got to answer now, or he's down 1 strike to none. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10, and Lonnie needs it. Starts way left. Didn't get it. 4-7 stands, and Chris Barnes takes the lead. 1 strike to none.
Somewhere around here.
Moving right along. How about this, Randy? Left-handed.
Stand on the big dot because, well, that's where all the left-handers stand. So
And a 7.8 Randy rating. For a southpaw shot, it's pretty tough.
it's gonna hook a lot.
Chris, it sure does, and he's got it. Great shot, Chris Barnes.
Chris obviously practicing a little bit left-handed during the offseason. Watch, this is a great shot. Not only do you have to throw it left-handed, you have to hook it, and the ball is going to just barely catch the head pin, ricochets off into
That was the big dot, right?
Stand on the big dot. Yeah,
That was the big dot.
Yeah, you get too far right of that, you'll trip.
Anything that works from Chris Barnes
Come on, Billy.
in terms of intimidation. So now Lonnie's got to answer, or he's down 2 strikes to none. Lefty release. It's hooking. Oh, somehow it misses the head pin. And a second strike indeed for Chris Barnes. It's 2-0. 1 more strike and he wins the competition.
Lonnie almost converts, but he had to catch a piece of the head pin, just barely misses it. Now he's behind the 8 ball, down 0-2.
Okay.
I think it's got to go like.
Now the 8 pin is standing here. 2-3-8-9 split. Rarely see this in a PBA Tour event. Whoa, he's got it. Perfect location. Throwing the spare ball with a little bit of hook there.
Yeah, you'll never see this leave from a professional, and I've never seen this thing made before. Chris Barnes takes a ball that doesn't hook and tries to fit it right in between the 2 and the 3, and he covers the 8 and the 9 perfectly.
Great lane level look at it. Coming right at you. Perfect conversion. So now Lonnie needs this or he loses the competition. 3 strikes to none. To stay alive, Lonnie Walchek. No. Chops the 3-9, and that'll do it. Chris Barnes takes the competition.
Shot that one time. So.
3 strikes to none. He advances to the round of 8. Join us next week. Robert Smith takes on Tony Reyes for the PBA Denver Open. Tune in to see who has the greatest skills in the Miller High Life PBA Skills Challenge. Where did Rick Lawrence win his first career PBA title? Right here, Northrock Lanes, Wichita, Kansas. We'll hear from Rick and Jason Hurd. An interview with Randy Peterson coming up next. Mike Edwards' quest for his first title in a decade continues. He blasts Danny Wiseman in the semifinals. And now it's Jason Hurd, Rick Lawrence to see who Mike Edwards will play in that championship match. And they're both joined by our Randy Peterson.
Dave Ryan, Jason Hurd looking for his first singles title on the PBA Tour. Jason, your opponent today, Rick Lawrence, is 6-0 on television. You're coming in on an 0-6 streak on TV. How do you right the ship today?
Well, Randy, today's a new day. I'm going to come in. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to see if I can put a little ice on his hot streak.
Good luck, Jason. Thank you. Fair enough. Rick Lawrence, congrats on a great week last week. You looked so cool, calm, and collected, yet in an interview with Dave Ryan, you said you were shaking in your boots. How are your nerves today?
Well, I put on some thicker socks this morning, and I got that pretty well taken care of, but now my knees are knocking. But I'll tell you something that's not knocking, though, is my boys at AMF. They're Paul Figamini is designing the new balls. You know, they took that New Yorker and transported him down there to Texas, and now it's broadened his mind, and everything's big in Texas.
Good luck, Rick. Thank you. Dave Ryan, Rick Lawrence looking to stay unbeaten. Jason Hurd looking to get off the schneid.
That they are, guys. Thank you for your time. Dick Weber, all-time PBA leader, back-to-back wins. Walter Williams Jr. had a chance last week, but lost this guy, Rick Lawrence. From the Dallas Metroplex, Salina, Texas. And what an unbelievable story this guy is. He barely made the exempt tour with double points. A great performance last year at the World Championship. And then wins last week to earn next year's exemption. Yes, he will remember that path to the pocket.
Picking up right where he left off last week. 10 in the pit for the unassuming Rick Lawrence.
Just calm as can be, as you mentioned in the interview. Jason Hurd has had his issues, folks, with nerves on television. Big struggles. Not there. Excellent start for the Floridian from Titusville on the Atlantic coast side, south of Daytona. Our real deal matchup, Randy.
Real tight matchup. As you can see, the average is very, very close. Strike percentage. Remember we talked about in the other Baby Ruth, the spare conversion percentage, both guys over 80%. Real tight matchup on paper. However, I think advantage has to go to Rick Lawrence because of one thing and one thing only, momentum.
Who will keep the momentum going is the question now. The early going. Two perfect shots. We saw Hurd's TV record, but just 2 singles wins ever in his career on television. His title was a doubles championship.
I think the only thing that Jason Hurd needs to do to win out here is get off to a quick start, have a little bit of area on the lane so he can get loose. Once this guy gets loose, this guy's a striking machine.
227.80 average to get here to another TV show for Rick Lawrence. Beat Steve Wilson in 6 games in the round of 8. That's a little bit high. The 2-pin up for the lefty. Now, a difference in approach, as Rick mentioned to us last night. He was one of 2 lefties last week with Jason Couch in the show, too. Now he's the only southpaw.
Yeah, and a lot different angle for him this week. You know, Rick is a down-and-in player, likes to go real straight and keep the ball in line. But he told us last night that he has to create a little bit of angle. That shot there, he did not. He got it in, and the ball did not hold to the pocket.
Takes care of his mark. Last week, different oil pattern. He said he went right at that head pin in St. Louis. He's going to go out further to the left this week, but not too much. That's that level of experimentation now. There's already been 1 match ahead of you, but no lefties. You saw Danny Wiseman, a master technician of lane breakdowns and ball reaction, just completely shocked, flummoxed.
What? What does that mean?
Really surprised.
Oh.
No late help on the 3.
Dave, remember, small words for your partner, Randy. And right now, Rick Lawrence looks like he's got a little bit of the Danny Wiseman, that in-between type of stuff. You know, Danny couldn't go straight enough, and he couldn't hook it enough. Mike Edwards could go straight enough. Jason Hurd certainly can hook it enough. Rick Lawrence looks early on to be in that same in-between zone.
Takes care of number 3. And another mark for Rick Lawrence. Big time here for Jason Hurd. Strike while the fire's hot. Chance for the turkey ball. 11-pin lead. Can go up 21 with a strike. Can he overcome his TV woes? Big storyline for Jason Hurd.
Yeah!
He was so happy, and speaking with us, the last show he made in Cleveland, he had to go way right, a few boards right along that channel, had a gutter ball here. With this oil pattern, he can play further in, and we see the match play record for Jason Hurd getting here. 229.14 average. Good week for him.
Yeah, you're exactly right about what you're talking about in terms of how he's playing the lanes. As you see, look what he did to Chris Barnes. I mean, one of the local favorites, and he just blows him out of the water 4-0. But right now, Jason Hurd is playing the lanes the way he feels most comfortable playing them.
Big difference from his last TV show a couple weeks back. Just like that, 10-pin. Oh! she goes. Messenger all the way across the deck, and it takes out number 10.
Headpin's going to go to the sidewall. Jason Hurd working on a three-bagger. Here comes the headpin. Get out of my face. Give me 4 in a row.
Come
on. He's down 31 pins. As Rick Lawrence works on a spare here. He's got to get some strikes going, folks, in a hurry, or he's going to get blown out of this match. Rick's been steady. 7-pin will not get knocked down late. While we have a moment, very special happy birthday wish to our producer Mike Ross' little girl back in New Jersey, Chloe. Happy birthday, Chloe, 6 years old.
They're all watching the show right now. They're having a big bowling birthday party watching the show. Happy birthday, Chloe.
Bird's eye view at that 7-pin, and down it goes for Rick Lawrence. He's speaking of family. His wife, Gail, 25 years, is here. His son, Matt, his daughter, Kayla, were homeschooled and stay with him. There is Gail, also daughters, Elena and Ashley. His grandson, Jesus. Big family get-together. Now, Gail was on a skiing trip with the 2 younger kids in Winter Park, Colorado, and drove all the way back when they found out that, guess what? Back-to-back weeks, Rick's on the show again. Big shot.
There you go.
And they're glad they left the slopes of the Rockies.
Yeah, already spending all that cash Dad made last week. You see how that ball there, Dave? The 4-pin went to the wall and drove the 7 out. The shot before that, he left the weak 7. He's got to find a way to get the ball to roll up harder into the pocket. A guy who knows a lot about that, well, you're looking at him. Here he comes right at you.
Looks for a 5-back. 4-pin, that was a chance to take a big lead.
Wow. Right over the 5th arrow. He's playing 25 already. There's only been 2 games bowled, this being the 2nd. So really a game and a half plus 15 minutes of practice. But again, playing to his strength, the deep inside line.
Up 31 pins now. Takes care of the mark.
Dave, I got to tell you, last night when Jason Hurd told us that he thought it was a huge advantage for him today not being in the first match, coming out of the 2nd match, he had time to regroup, kind of catch his breath, and not be overwhelmed by the moment.
NFL football is coming your way on Sunday night here on ESPN. That's tonight, Raiders-Broncos. Big matchup as the Raiders have really been struggling offensively, trying to get things going. It is tonight. That ball is way off the mark.
Bad shot.
Well, this is the 3rd time we've seen this action. Or actually the 4th time. The other time was a washout by Danny Wiseman. Flag the old headpin. You heard Jason say it was a bad shot. If you miss it at the bottom, you get it going right quick with no hand, no revolutions. Guess what? It's not getting back.
Does take care of the mark. Another headpin left up there. The lead shrinks to 28 pins. It's not over for Rick Lawrence. Trying to make some more history here in Wichita. We look back to the 1993 Wichita Open, July of that year. Hall of Famers David Ozio won 11 titles in his career, and Mike Albee battled it out. What a slugfest this was. The title match saw only one 7-pin right there in 20 frames of bowling. It was up to Mike Albee, though, who won 27 times on tour. He came through in the clutch, sealing the victory with his first ball in the 10th, followed by 2 more strikes. Albee trying to become just the 2nd bowler to have that perfect game in a title match on TV. And he would, defeating Ozio 300 to 279. The PBA on ESPN is brought to you by Odor ears with unique Zorbatex technology. Destroys foot odor and absorbs sweat on contact. By Geico, you too could save 15% or more on car insurance. Call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Uniroyal Tires, the official tire of the PBA Tour. Uniroyal Tires, trusted by American families since 1892. 28-pin lead, Jason Hurd over Rick Lawrence, semifinal number 2 to see who faces Mike Edwards. He defeated Danny Wiseman in the first semifinal. Edwards already to the championship match. For Jason, it's all about timing and baby steps. Randy breaks down Jason Hurd's unusual style in this week's Dexter Approach.
Thank you, Dave. It's really only one baby step, and I'm going to show that to you in a minute, but look at the powerful 6.5-step approach of Jason Hurd. I want to show you something. It's called this pivot step. Notice how all the steps are pretty equal in size until that one. Check out the size of his pivot step. The step before the slide that gets him to the foul line in front of the bowling ball. There's the load, and watch him just unload on it at the bottom of the swing, creating all that striking power.
Will can try to continue his excellence here in this semifinal match with Rick Lawrence. Down by 28 pins, but is working on a strike, so can reduce it to 18. He'll start off this match with 4 straight strikes. There's Bill McCullough from Pepsi. Thanks to him for all of his help in sponsoring this great event from Wichita. That came off the hand really strangely. Down lane further. Loft than he probably wanted and way high.
I think he lofted it that far on purpose. The last shot on that lane went high, and he's trying to get that thing to push down the lane, and it's just not going to happen. He kind of has a reaction I'm real familiar with, afraid to throw it an inch to the left. For me, it'd be an inch to the right.
2-4-7 up for Rick now. That would have really helped things out. Could have reduced the deficit by 10 pins, working on a strike, but instead, look out, leaves the 7. A disastrous open frame at this point of the match could really hurt his chances. And look at that deficit expanding to 40. Great year for both bowlers, certainly. Rick Lawrence, look at that. Win percentage in match play so far on the PBA Tour. This is our 5th event. Jason Hurd not far behind him. So 1-2 in this semifinal on that list. Hurd has had a wonderful season. Come on. Help for number 8. No, it will not go down.
And Rick Lawrence in a whole heap of trouble right about now. Struggling to get his ball to the pocket. Jason Hurd, big lead, 40 pins.
Jason Hurd, folks, 4th on the PBA points list, 5th in average, 7th in tour strike percentage. He has just had a tremendous year. Very consistent, but still looking for his first ever singles title. 8 pin down for Lawrence. Lives on the Atlantic coast of Florida, as we mentioned, big fisherman. Fresh and salt water. Loves to spend time. He'll wait out, fish, and go in the boat as well. Like many folks in that part of the state. Still recovering from some hurricane damage.
What is that?
Wow, a split.
Uh-oh. Speaking of fish, look out, fish. Here comes the big hook, and that one goes right through the nose, leaving the 4-6. And all he wanted to do right about now was fill frames, marks.
Just to end it, right? Seems simple enough. Wow, 4-6 up, and he leaves the 4-pin, so an open frame for Jason Hurd.
If Jason Hurd strike spares all the way out, he's going to shoot 213. Rick Lawrence can strike out to shoot 216.
Just like that, the lead just 27 pins now. Rick Lawrence has an opening. Other finishers you see, the crawl, bottom of your screen, round of 32 on up. There's Chris Barnes, the local favorite, former Wichita State star. There's some help on number 10. Down she goes again.
Yeehaw! That's exactly what you need after a split. You got to get right back on the horse, Dave. Check this out. The same pin, that head pin, is going to come do a little dance. Here I come. Oh, get out of there.
Randy, just before that replay, we saw the name Kelly Bonta, bottom of your screen. A local amateur defeated Walter A. Williams Jr. in 4 straight games in the round of 64. What an upset that was.
Big upset.
And as part of the big story here from Wichita, Kansas, back to Lawrence.
Again, going with a big loft to try to get that ball to push down the lane. Lots of Wichita State alums that bowled this event. Tim Penner on a commissioner's exemption actually won his first match. Matt McFadden. You mentioned Chris Barnes, Lonnie Wallachek, Pat Healy Jr., Justin Romick, a former U.S. Open champion. Quick nugget on the matches early on in the week. Sean Evans was the qualifying leader who bowled back-to-back 300s at 300 and 299. In his match against Chris Barnes, Chris shoots back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but 2 300s in a 5-game match against him.
Much better ball for Lawrence, as we saw the other qualifiers, their finishers with the commissioner's exemption and with the amateurs. Kelly Bonta, by the way, is a local worker at a steel mill, and after going to work, got ready, showered up, came over here and beat Walter A. Williams Jr. in 4 straight games. Had a huge following at the bowling center that day.
Yeah, but you know, we don't want people to think that you can just walk off the street and beat Walter A. This guy, Kelly Bonta, is a good player.
Strike for Jason Hurd. He just needs 8 pins now to win this one. Looks for the turkey.
Nice bit of back end there. Takes advantage of the messenger in the 8th frame. Right now only needs 8 pins. Jason Hurd's going on to bowl Mike Edwards for the Pepsi Open title.
Saw him look to his left there as a fan actually walking back to her seat. Let's hope that doesn't distract him. Did not, thankfully. And he closes out the match.
No worries.
The streak is over. You talked to him about that before, winning singles matches on TV, and he's finally done it.
But again, I think you got to give Rick a lot of credit for getting this far in the tournament on really a pattern that he doesn't like a whole lot. I mean, anytime you move a straight guy down and in player into the middle part of the lane, you know, they're going to struggle a little bit.
Blisters the rack. Jason Hurd last year, folks, his best finish. In 5th place, lost to Mike McTrue, the wild card match in Omaha to start our season. That was his best of last year. Now he's made 2 shows. He's on the verge of a title as well. He will face Mike Edwards in the championship match here today in Wichita.
He's off the schneid, and I think the most interesting matchup in the title match is that Mike Edwards is going to be going really straight and hard, and Jason Hurd is going to be playing the big hook.
Hi, everybody in Titusville.
A lot of friends watching today at River Lanes in Titusville, his home center. Lawrence takes care of that mark. And that brings to a close a tremendous 2-week run for Rick Lawrence, who told us several times during the week he had to pinch himself. Did I just beat Walter A. Williams Jr. again on TV? Did it in '99 here in Wichita? Did I win a title in St. Louis? Yes, he did. But he's still the same humble guy. Helping out his friends with their motorhomes if they needed it throughout the week on repairs. And his week is over.
Put it out. Sorry.
Jason Hurd, Mike Edwards coming up in the finals. We can't wait to see who wins in Wichita this year. Jason Hurd, Mike Edwards will play for the PBA Pepsi Open title in Northrock Lanes here in Wichita, Kansas. Monday Night Countdown. We're talking football. Provides comprehensive analysis, interviews, highlights, up-to-the-minute NFL news, live reports from the site of ABC's Monday Night Football game. That's coming up here on ESPN tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Time. That leads you to the Monday Night Football game. How about Brett Favre? His 200th straight start. 35 straight games with a touchdown pass, going for Johnny U's all-time record of 47 in a row against the St. Louis Rams. We saw Danny Wiseman battle Mike Edwards in our first semifinal today. Ever wonder what Danny does to take his mind off bowling? Andy asked him that and much more in this week's Miller Six Pack.
When you're not bowling, what is the one thing you have to do but hate the most?
Well, when I take my 96 Mustang Cobra out to car shows, I have to clean it up because it's got to look good. And 2 years ago, I redid the whole thing, the undercarriage and whatnot, and now it's it sits in the garage and gets dirty, and I hate doing it, but I have to make it look good.
As a child, what was your favorite toy?
Probably my Matchbox cars. I used to run them around the house all the time, constantly, and I still have them, and they still have the carpet threads in the sprockets. So I just used to throw them all around the carpet.
When you were growing up, who did you want to be someday?
Actually, I played baseball when I was a child, and I was very good at it. And I always wanted to be a pitcher. And one of my favorite athletes at the time was Jim Palmer. When he was on his game, he was on. And I always actually emulated his style when I pitched, when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. So I'd have to go the baseball way and say Jim Palmer.
What goes through you when you hear people cheering for you?
It actually gets me going. I like that. I like the attention, and I like when people are behind me, even if they're not booing or whatever. It drives me, to get up there and whomever I'm bowling, to kick their butt. It just gives me elaboration. I love it. I love the attention. I thrive on it.
What is the one thing you do that takes your mind completely off of bowling?
Music. I get away. Oh, you got to have the heavy stuff. The Godsmack and the good stuff.
What is your all-time favorite line from a movie?
Probably Forrest Gump. The Mama always told me, life is like a box of chocolates.
Come on, you got to finish it.
I don't know the rest. That's just
you never know
what you're going to get.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, well, it pertains to life.
Absolutely.
So.
There's Danny Wiseman. Still has a smile on his face despite the loss in the semifinal. He'll be in action at the PBA Denver Open. We'll be there too, Lakewood, Colorado. Don't forget, folks, to log on to PBA.com to sign up for those 3 different sites in the Denver area for the Pro-Ams on Saturday, December 4th. Then we're headed off to the Earl Anthony Medford Classic. Lava Lanes, a great spot to be for us in Southern Oregon. Pro-Ams at Lava Lanes on Saturday, December 11th. To buy tickets for PBA events, register to bowl in Pro-Ams, and for more information about bowling in the PBA Tour Qualifier, head to the Tour's official website, PBA.com. All the latest news, stats, and standings, including live scoring during match play, just a mouse click away. We'll hear from the finalists, Jason Hurd, Mike Edwards, have the Geico Direct Championship recap as well when we return to Wichita, Kansas. Thursday here at Northrock Lanes in Wichita, PBA pros and their families gather to give thanks as they shared Thanksgiving dinner right here in Kansas. Of the many blessings they shared, loved ones remained atop the list.
Well, I'm very thankful for my friends, my family, especially my mother and my stepfather.
Well, I'm thankful for all my family and friends, and having my best friend as my wife, and being able to make a living doing something I love, bowl.
Family was the theme of the day, so for PBA bowlers like Steve Jarris and Parker Bone III, have a safe and happy holiday season.
Happy Thanksgiving.
848 turkeys this week. Not bad. How about Mike Edwards, who's in our final, the leader in that category. 3 straight strikes. And Eddie, as they call him, from Tulsa, Oklahoma, is ready to go. That's because he knocked off Danny Wiseman in style, 222 to 164. Jason Hurd all over last week's champion Rick Lawrence, 243 185. So it's Hurd, Edwards for the championship here today in Wichita. Time now for the Geico Direct Championship recap. Mr. Peterson.
Thank you, Dave. And remember that that's not how many turkeys they ate, that's how many 3-baggers they threw. Early in match number 1, it was Mike Edwards defeating Danny Wiseman by the score of 222-164. A split by Wiseman in the 7th did him in. Then in match number 2, it was Jason Hurd defeating last week's winner, Rick Lawrence, by the score of 243-185. Hurd started quick with 4 in a row and cruised to victory. setting up a great championship match. Dave?
Jason Hurd, someone's got to break here. One of you two has got to break a long streak without a win. Now, a singles win for you would be your first in your career. What would that mean to you?
Oh, that's a dream come true. Been wanting to accomplish that since I've been out here, and I'm one match closer today, so hopefully it'll happen.
Best of luck, Jason. Mike Edwards, you hadn't been in a show since '99, as we talked about in the first interview today. How are the nerves now, the experience of being out here for one match? Do you feel relaxed?
Oh, I feel great. I'm ready to go. Everything feels good. Shot looks good, so I'm ready to get it on.
Plain and simple, ready. He's ready. So is Jason Hurd.
Keys to victory today for Mike Edwards. Be patient and don't get overwhelmed. So far, so good. Jason Hurd, he's got to be himself, and that's what he did. And don't be afraid to get in and wheel it. Right now, this is shaping up to be a great title match. These are the only two players out of the first two matches to bolt 200-plus game. One guy going straight, that's Mike Edwards. One guy hooking the whole lane, Jason Hurd.
Edwards shot, high, but oh! 7-pin.
Not the way you want to start.
No.
A championship match. However, it is only the first frame. Watch this. 2-pin jumps right over the top of the 7.
Edwards trying to snap the third longest drought of the 58 exempt bowlers without a win. Takes that 7-pin.
Too good.
In the field, Brian LeClaire has not won in 317 events. Richie Wolf, 290. Mike Edwards was 210 without a victory. 210 straight events without winning. Maybe it ends today. Hurd had a pretty good semifinal. 10-pin.
Two good shots by both players to start the game. Keep in mind, Dave Ryan, that neither player is, as you can see, Kim Hurd, Jason's wife, neither player has earned a spot into season-ending Tournament of Champions. So the winner of this match gets into that prestigious event and knocks out Dave D'Entremont, who got in by winning this very tournament in 2002.
Leading us to our Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup, Edwards Hurd.
Again, we talked about how tight the matchup was, Dave. Average dead on. Strike percentage 1.3% higher. So close. It's anybody's game. It's going to come down to carry.
Well, that came in high, too. Really jetting toward that head pin. And the 10-pin remains. It's ball reaction, oil breaking down as the match progresses. It's such a big key.
See the side roll and revolutions? Once that ball grabs the lane, it's going to travel in direction of rotation. That one just grabbed the lane surface a little too early.
With a spare ball, powerful mark.
Be careful with that white sign.
Next week, Jason Hurd, Mike Edwards go for another win. We'll be in Denver. PBA Tour rolls on Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 on the West Coast. 11 o'clock Mountain Time in the Rockies as the PBA Tour returns to Denver and that area for the first time since the early 1990s. Look forward to that. Edwards, that's high again. This time doesn't get the break and has a split to deal with.
Not really sure what to say about that. This looks like a pretty good shot off his hand. The ball bites a little bit too quick down the lane. You see the change of direction. Doesn't get the good break, tripping the 4-6 out.
Takes care of the 6, number 4 stands though for Mike Edwards, so there's an open frame. But as we know, these one-game matches, better to have the open early on than later with pins accumulating. Didn't like that either. On the release. 3-6 up for Mike Edwards, who needs some strikes now after that open frame.
Looks like Mike Edwards is coming a bit unraveled here in the championship match. You know, it's so important when you bowl for a championship on the PBA Tour that your thought process doesn't change. I mean, just because you're bowling one more game, you can't start thinking about titles and money and tournament of champion berths and that kind of stuff. You got to stay focused and just concentrate on the job at hand. Dave DeAngemont will get bumped today, followed by Brian Voss, Eugene McCune, and yours truly.
There you are, Randy. Unfortunately, closing in. You don't want to be on top of that bubble at all. Lane level look at it. All 10 down.
Lanes are starting to open up just a bit for Jason Hurd. You can see this ball gets a little bit further right. Right now, he's in his wheelhouse, and he has a 12-pin lead.
Shots for a 22-pin advantage, works on a strike. Gets a real break. Look at that, almost had double word with a 2 and 8. They both go down. When we come back, we'll conclude this exciting match. The PBA Pepsi Open. Who takes the championship? The $40,000, the points, and the exemption. A champion will be crowned. Hurd Edwards, the final here at the PBA Pepsi Open in Wichita, Kansas. One will take home a tour championship. I want to thank John Crum, the Northrock Lanes proprietor here in Wichita, hosting this event yet again. We were here in 2002. Open up that season. Dave DeAngemont, who's on that bubble, won that event. Let's check in with the Uniroyal Tire Rock and Roll this week, Randy.
Thanks, Dave. And speaking of roll, we're going to watch Jason Hurd roll the 2-8 to give him a key double in this title match. Watch this. Oh, hello, double. You think Jason Hurd thinks he got a break? One for me.
Absolutely. Hurd's working on a double right now. Edwards is down 22. Got to get it going. That's the way to do it. Going right at that head pin. 10 down in the pin.
You notice the directional change down the lane on that ball was very subtle. The reason why it was very subtle, because he made a ball change. He sees the lanes burning up in front of him, breaking down, the oil actually going away in the area of the zone he's playing. He goes to a ball.
Straight and hard player.
Excuse me, Dave. He goes to a ball that doesn't read that or see that lane friction as much as the ball he was using. You see where Jason Hurd's playing as opposed to Mike Edwards. Jason Hurd burning up that area where Mike Edwards was playing. Big time adjustment right there.
All right, back on.
And the Wichita State collegiate bowlers know someday they'd like to do that on TV as well, maybe becoming pros down the road. 2 big strikes. Mike Edwards, now it's Jason Hurd's turn. Looks for the turkey ball. Has it.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Sets the table for Thanksgiving with a big strike there. 3-bagger, Jason Hurd. 22-pin lead. Can increase it to 32 with a strike. Looking for his first singles title and a berth into the season-ending Tournament of Champions event and an exemption for next year.
There's that breakdown. Through 5. Midway point. Lane level look at yet another strike. Jason Hurd keeps it going. 4 in a row, and he's definitely in a groove.
Let's see where he's at now. Let's see, make a little adjustment. He's into 26-27, feeding it out to that same break point. With all that power, when that ball hits the pins.
This is a different bowler, Jason Hurd, than we're seeing on TV a couple weeks ago, where he was a nervous wreck. Edwards has found his groove. Speaking of nerves settling now, and the match cranks up, and the chess match continues. The differing styles, the big hook from Hurd, and straight and hard. That's Mike Edwards doing.
Mike Edwards taking a re-rack on the left lane for one of two reasons: either the pins are off spot, or trying to buy some time.
Tonight, Raiders Broncos coming your way. Here on ESPN, 8:30 Eastern Time. Mike Shanahan, 15-4 all time against his former team since being dismissed as coach. Earlier in the year, big win for Denver in Oakland, 31-3 over the Raiders. Trying to make it 2 in a row. 10-pin.
Rack, man.
So it was the rack. It was a bad rack. Instead of taking another re-rack, you're allowed 2 a game. He decides to go with it, and the rack caused the 6-pin to lay in the gutter and not come out and bump that 10 out.
Had 3 straight strikes going. Down 23 pins. Ooh, the side of the pin. He wasn't too confident there upon the release, and we know darn well.
See that one?
That would have been a disaster for Mike Edwards this late in the match.
And just a wry smile on Mike Edwards' face as he barely converts the 10-pin, but the concern is that this man right here is going to run away and hide.
Looks for a 5th straight strike and a 33-pin lead. All that.
Dave, you talked about how comfortable Jason Hurd looks today, how it's a different Jason Hurd. Again, a win gets him into the Dexter Tournament of Champions. The reason why is because he has a ball reaction that he feels comfortable with. He doesn't have to fit it in between, you know, 2 hairs out there. He feels like he has a little bit of room. He likes to play inside. He's in his comfort zone, or what we call his wheelhouse.
This for a 43-pin lead, 6 in a row. Had to hurry. And a 2-pin for Jason Hurd, but avoids the disastrous split. Folks, he's got 1 career title. And that was a doubles event with Johnny Petraglia. He's never won a singles championship. The doubles title came at the National Bowling Stadium, Reno, Nevada, back in '99. 2 players who have not done a lot of winning on the PBA Tour, but it's changing. Gets the side of the pin there again. Playing with a lot of hook on that spare.
Yeah, I thought he missed that, like Mike thought he missed the 10-pin on the same lane.
Things are going your way. They're going your way.
Oh, God bless you.
Did he think he had it?
No, he thought he missed it.
That's why I'm pretty sure he thought he was way off. Down 32 pins, 8th frame. Mike Edwards got to have a strike. 2-pin stands for Eddie.
Can't get his ball to the pocket. He's got to go real hard and firm with a ball that doesn't react. If he misses just a pinch to the right, it's not going to get back.
Takes care of that spare. Mike Edwards started bowling in the PBA Tour back in 1982. He's only won 1 title. His best seasons were 85 and 91, where he made 4 shows.
This is where Mike Edwards started playing. This is where Jason Hurd started playing. Jason continued to go this way, and he burned up this area right in front of Mike Edwards. The only chance Mike would have would be to move way in.
Where's the Australian accent?
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Right at that head pin. That was high. And the adjustments as the oil breaks down, just not there. Things looking very good for Jason Hurd.
Yeah, Jason Hurd just has to stay behind the foul line and knock pins down, and he is going to win his first singles title. And Dave Ryan, quite frankly, no big surprise. I mean, this guy's been knocking on the door since the start of the year. And it was only a matter of time before somebody was going to let him in.
Last year, earned his exemption on points, 39th in the tour ranking list. He was outside the top 50 with 6 events to go, but enjoyed some top 30 finishes down the stretch and was exempt. Not by much. Perfect adjustment, big strike, Jason Hurd. This is a guy who won just $26,000 on tour last year. $10,000 of that came with a fourth-place finish. He lost in the wild card match, the season opening show in Omaha, Nebraska. And now he's about to win $40,000 and a tour title, an exemption, and a spot in the TOC.
It's actually worth a lot more than just $40,000 today, isn't it, Dave?
Just needs 4. He'll take 7. And a victory for Jason Hurd. First ever singles title comes today here in Wichita. This thing is all over. A great week wraps up for Mike Edwards, who had gone 79 shows without a TV appearance. His streak of not winning a title will continue. Jason's wife must be completely elated. She's made the trip from Florida, and was it ever worth it? A great moment for Kim and Jason Hurd. He is the PBA Pepsi Open champion over Mike Edwards in the final today from Wichita. Finally has a singles win. We'll hear from him next. The PBA on ESPN is brought to you by Pepsi, by Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly, this is the High Life. And by Bear. The more you know, the more you trust Bear. It had been a long time. 132 events with no singles title for Jason Hurd. That all changes today as he defeats Mike Edwards 226-190 in the championship match here from Wichita. Congratulations to Jason Hurd. It's been a great show today. Be sure to join us again next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN for the PBA Denver Open from Brunswick Zone in Lakewood, Colorado, near Denver. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on ESPN.com. For the entire crew, my partner Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan saying so long, reminding you Power Golf, the Pinnacle LDA Tour from Albuquerque, is coming up next. What a day for Jason Hurd.
Jason, come on out. Congratulations.